Hi, my name is Hernandez.
And I'm Aileen Salgado.
And the most typical situation a person might find themselves in nowadays is stay in a place where they feel comfortable in. People make fun of others who have problems such as depression, anxiety, and other disabilities. But those problems are often brought onto us because we are too scared to go out there and live our lives. This is a real problem in everyday lives, and it is time to bring awareness to it. We are here to introduce new ways for you to break out of those fears. For example, last year I participated in a summer program called JCLC, and I remember being excited and all for it, but I was also really nervous and scared. I was afraid of being separated from my friends, and I didn't want to be stuck with a bunch of people I didn't know with for 4 days. I kept debating on whether or not I wanted to go, but when the night before camp came, I named all of the reasons why I should do it. One of those reasons was that it was something new and different, so why not? I ended up going, and next thing you know, I realized it wasn't so bad, because in the end, I had fun, I made new friends, and it felt good to try something I never thought I would do.
Now, each day, you probably experience something that is out of your comfort zone, whether it's from having to raise your hand in class, getting stuck in a routine, or even having to stand in front of an audience to present an innovative idea. We want to help you to help others spread this idea, because breaking out of your comfort zone could mean the difference between having a job you love or having a job just to get by. Growing up for me, it wasn't always the easiest. I didn't always go to a school where I felt like I was in a comfortable environment, and as a result of that, I began to close myself off from people. Things that I would normally jump straight to doing, I would oftentimes end up second guessing. On a 90-degree day, I wore a sweater because only then did I begin to feel the slightest bit comfortable. When I transferred to 4th grade, I realized that nobody knew me. They didn't know my past or what I had done, so I decided to keep it that way. I didn't like being touched, talked to, or looked at. The summer before 5th grade, I met a girl named Samantha. She saw me for who I was and everything that I was scared of doing. So one day she took me and she told me, "Look, Aileen, if you keep living in that box that you live in, you're never going to be happy and you're never going to inspire the change you want to see in this world. Look at it this way," she said, and she pointed down at the floor. "You are standing there in that square and I am standing here in this one. When you are ready to come over to give me a hug, I will be waiting." She waited for about 2 hours, and as she began to think that I wouldn't walk over and hug her, I did. I counted to 3 and told myself that I wouldn't back down. Whenever I face a situation where I'm in an uncomfortable environment, I just count to 3 and go for it. There are many ways to break out of your comfort zones, but this is just one.
Not everyone's situation is the same though. Some situations have to do with school, business, social life, etc. One common situation some people have that cause them to stay in their comfort zone is when it comes to sports. Those who do not play sports might often think about joining one. If they don't, it is probably because they have never done that sport or because they feel like they aren't good enough. This fear is stopping people from focusing on the possible outcomes and what good could come out of it. For those who do play sports, might feel like they could do better, but not everyone actually does something about it because they might be afraid of that big jump to possible success they're going to make. If you break out of your comfort zone to do something you love, it takes risks and challenges on the way. But all of that hard work you do will pay off in the end, and eventually you will reach your goal.
When it comes to your social life, you might be thinking of the positive and negative things that could possibly happen. You could have that girl or guy in mind that you've been liking for months, but something just won't stop holding you back. What's holding you back? It's the fear and the rejection of the negative things that could happen. Now, you know the negatives. You go up to that person, you say hi, and they reject you. Or you go up to that person, you say hi, and they ignore you. But you don't know the positives. Let's say you go up to that person, you say hi, and you start a friendship that lasts for a lot of years. Or you go up to that person, you say hi, and you start a relationship with them. This all just starts with saying hi. Same when it comes to friendships. You know, you meet somebody and you don't know what happens in 5 years or even 2 weeks. Instead of following in somebody else's shadow, you shouldn't be afraid to go out there and make your own.
We can start to make a change in people's lives by starting a community with people who are supportive and are willing to help others in need. Maybe we can start an app or Facebook page to start off and get people talking.
As individual as one's fears may seem, you're never alone. For example, agoraphobia. Now, everybody knows the fear of claustrophobia, which is the fear of tight spaces. But agoraphobia is the fear of open spaces. An example of that is if this auditorium were empty, an open space. If I was walking home by myself, an open space. Or even if I was home alone, an open space. 2.2% of people in the US are affected by this nationwide. 2.2 doesn't seem like a lot, but when you calculate it, as of 2014, there were 315.9 million people in the US. That's 7,015,800 people affected by agoraphobia. Now, 2.2 doesn't seem like a lot, but 7,015,800 is more than just one.
I know that maybe counting to 3 may not be the best method for everyone and their individual fears, but there are many other ways to overcome them.
Our goal in doing this is to create a space where other people feel comfortable coming forward and talking about their fears, and other people come forward and express different ways in which they can come out of their comfort zones. We want to create a safe space where people can come forward and talk.
There are many ways to break out of your comfort zone. One way, for example, is if you are afraid of rejection, you go out there and get rejected 50 times faster than you normally would. The concept behind doing these comfort zone challenges is that if you do something that you are afraid of or that is out of your comfort zone enough times, then the thought of it will become less and less nerve-wracking.
Another example of this is the fear of public speaking. If you're afraid to speak in front of large groups or even raise your hand in class, you could slowly start by presenting your idea to a small group of friends and work your way up to bigger groups until you're comfortable enough to speak freely about what you're thinking.
Embarrassment is one thing that is holding people back from speaking out. So to get that out of the way, you can do something really embarrassing out in public, like singing out loud in the school hallways. This is causing you to break out of your comfort zone. Doing this will make you get used to people staring at you. That way, when it comes to actually breaking out of your comfort zone, you already know how it feels to have everyone's attention on you.
If roller coasters aren't part of your comfort zone, because I know they're not part of mine, you can go to a theme park and work your way up. Start at the smallest roller coasters, or you can simply go on the biggest one so that when you go on the smaller ones, they will seem like nothing.
They say that fear is what stops you from advancing further in life, but I think fear is what pushes you to try new experiences that you normally wouldn't try. Don't let that fear hold you back and keep you trapped inside that box.
If you're interested in more ways to break out of your comfort zone, you can go on YouTube and look up Till Helge, where he discusses more about comfort zones and even more ways to break out of them. Thank you for your time.